to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another
it!
one! Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Works down by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hey, everybody, and welcome aboard on this Thursday. Hope you've had a good week up to now. Looks, I haven't even checked the weather, but I don't think it's going to rain. Cool. Lots going on. Big lineup. A big lineup today and tomorrow. Matt Taylor will be joining us, of course. Cal Neddenriep. We're here from Chris Denari. And maybe a little special guest later on in the second hour. John, you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, last night we did a little interview piece with our new good friend Jakai Newton and his family. And so we'll have that coming up here for you later on in the show.
All right. Looking forward to that. The Astros tied the World Series last night. I didn't get to see all of it, but I saw most of it. I didn't see it. I missed the beginning where the Astros must have gone off and scored a lot of their runs. But it's going to be an exciting series, I think. It's already been fun to watch. Saying hello to everybody, jumping in on the Andy Moore Honda hotline. Hey, Donald from Georgia. Forrest is down in Georgia. Ross is down in Southern Kentucky. Doug, as you talk about, Doug's down under. I can say down south. Doug's got everybody beat. He's in from Australia, mate. Miller time for him, maybe. The music man jumping on. Man, got a crew. We got to come up with a name for that crew. Have to think about that, John. Come up with something.
Yeah, I like that idea. I don't have any ideas for the name, but I think that's good. We should nickname the audience.
Not the audience, but there's the ones that get on. And, yes, the one that they're engaging. Everyone doesn't get to listen to the show live, but I understand that. It would be better if you did, but it would also be better if we were on a radio station in your area, if you're in the state of Indiana, at least. And if we're not, and you think there's one we should be, hey, call them and tell them. Say, hey, I want to listen to this instead. But, World Series is coming along. We've got football, basketball news. There's all kinds of stuff going on. We'll catch up, like I said, with those guys tomorrow. And tomorrow is loaded. Let's see. Dylan's going to be with me. Alec Lasley updates us on all the recruiting action that is going on. Let's see. Is JQ tomorrow? JQ Roberts?
Yes, sir. Jaqueline, JQ Roberts.
We got JQ tomorrow as well. Man, there's even more that I'm reading. Jeffrey
the Greek, former Iowa player. He also does the Eyes on Big podcast.
Zach Osterman. Wow. That's a lot. That's just the next 2 days, man.
Look at this. This could be good. The Coils Crazies.
Ooh. That's coming out hot right out of the box. Ooh. That's not bad. I hate taking. Well, that sure does match. Me. I'm talking about me more than them, but well, yeah, that's definitely leader in the clubhouse, but it's only one in the clubhouse right now. So, but how's everything going with you guys? What are you all doing during the week, sports wise? What are you watching? Are you watching the NFL? I do. Are you watching now NBA? It's way too early for me to watch that. Ed's asking, what day is Noah Clowney announcing? That would be Monday. So, yeah, there's that. And that would definitely put a nice bow on the recruiting class for Mike Woodson. And Everything's a guess. I don't know where he's going. I would think Indiana's in a really good position for a lot of the reasons that some of these others have already tied onto with Mike Woodson. And not that Indiana's the only place that has a coach that has NBA experience. Indiana's not the only place that has a coach that played or coached in the NBA. So I get that. You got Penny Hardaway, you got guys all over, Juwan up in Michigan, they're everywhere. But the one thing different about Mike Woodson, he's older than those guys and relates to them in a different way. Where the younger guys, they're like still kind of, hip kind of a deal. I think Mike Woodson does it in a calm manner that is reassuring. That is, I don't want to, it's more fatherly like, I think. And I think for those players that resonates with, it's going to just be perfect. And I think it does resonate with a lot of players because it gives you that comfort of knowing that someone really has your best interest in mind. And the one thing that of the people I've talked to, that whether it's recruits or their families, is sincerity. And my engagements with Mike Woodson that's been that same. It's just a no frills, there's no smoke and mirrors, there's no entourage, there's just genuineness. And that's going to go a long way, period, in and of itself. Now you add everything else. You have the basketball knowledge, you have the basketball experience, you have the basketball connections. That just brings it all home. Forrest is watching some NFL, mainly college football. He doesn't like pro sports. Yeah, we know that. Throw it up there for him. Ed says the kids are buying into Coach Woodson as a person and his program. Absolutely. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Let's see. Bossy, cough, cough, thinks it's IU for Clowney. Well, I don't want to. A prediction from me is a guess. Straight up. Now, I try to take into account every bit of information I can get to making that guess. But I think it's Alabama and Indiana, in my opinion. And you look at the two, I think that Indiana better serves his purpose. Alabama is a team that gets up and down the floor. Nate Oates, great coach. He turned Buffalo into something. He goes to Alabama instantly and wins there. So it's not like if Noah Clowney went to Alabama, he's not going to be on a good team. It's not about that, just that. I mean, everyone wants to be on a good team and be competitive and all that and play for titles. But development, he wants development. And that's what I'm talking about. Noah Clowney, I don't know how he could get better development at Alabama than he can at Indiana with Mike Woodson. That's more of a specific target there. I think that Indiana has an advantage. That's where Indiana, I think, has the advantage, where Mike Woodson has the advantage over Nate Oates. Great coach. Like I said, Nate Oates, very successful. They're going to be successful this year. They're going to be fun to watch. That's hard to imagine. An Alabama basketball team, fun to watch. The Alabama basketball team has more tempo than their football team. But I think that's what it's going to come down to, honestly. And as these other recruits commit, like especially one that commits 2 years out, that shows a lot in and of itself, I think. Jakai Newton, he is a junior. So he's got 2 years of high school left, and he's already committed to Indiana. And he's on a high school team, by the way, that has like 5 or 6 D1 players. So it's not like he's this stud on this one team and doing all. Nope. He's one of many. One of many. And to get a commitment out of a kid like that soon, that says a lot to me. Or it gives me a lot of information, at least, on how well Mike Woodson is selling himself and his program. Without question. And that's huge. Now, you have to wait to the other side of that a couple of years to see for these recruits, they start seeing these recruits that are coming in and going on and going to the NBA. That is just going to open up a wider chasm, drawing in more players. I think it will get to the point quickly to where instead of Indiana choosing players, it's going to be the players trying to get to Indiana, like it is in other places, because that's how it used to be. And it still is for a good part of that, but not in its entirety. But I think that's going to change that way soon. And for Indiana's good fortune. Hey, Bill, feel free to hit us up on the Andy Moore Honda hotline. I haven't given that out for a long time. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you know how to hit the make sure you subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Just subscribe and hit notifications. And while you're at it, give me a follow on Twitter. I would greatly appreciate it. At Jim Coyle ISB. We got to start doing some giveaways. I'm to get some merchandise made. It's a new preset. Five Lefts is jumping on. Tim says he's here as well. Hey, Jennifer, would Clowney get more playing time at Alabama than IU? What a great question. What a great question. I don't know is the answer, because I don't know what Alabama has in the line of bigs right now. But I do know that he could come into Indiana and probably he's going to get all the minutes that he wants. Because Trace Jackson-Davis is leaving. So that's a big hole to fill. Michael Durr is a senior. I don't know if he has a COVID year built into that or not, but he's going to get he'll get all the minutes he wants. Indiana's going to be getting down the floor as well. I mean, they may not run like Alabama is going to run, but I don't know that no one wants to run like Alabama's going to run. I'm just kidding. He'll get all the minutes that he wants, but that's a great question. Man, I almost hit it past break. But yeah, he'll be woven into the lineup. But I think that he might get woven into a lineup in a different manner than he might at Alabama. That's the key. A way to prepare him more for the future. Durr's, I was thinking that. Yeah, Durr's got one of those built-in deals, so he'll 2 years, which is good. Yeah, it's Alabama and IU, no doubt there. Tom jumping in. He's going to dress up for Halloween on Saturday as a maintenance man at the Yum Center. What a smart idea. Maybe no one probably gets that, but a couple of us. Good deal. Hey, we got to take a break. Matt Taylor coming up next. Let's talk some Colts. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat. Brought to you by the great folks at Southern Stone Restaurant. It was out there last night. The coaches shows every Wednesday, 7:05. But if you want to get out just for a night out of the kitchen or whatever it is, head over to Southern Stone at the corner of Patterson and Rogers in Bloomington. The food is excellent, and I mean excellent. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration or
Once again, Matt says he's only got 10 minutes. So I think I'm going to talk to him about moving his segment.
Yeah, I mean, ask him if he needs to start coming on earlier.
Or even a different day, maybe. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work like that. But I'll just see what works best for him.
Or maybe he's just trying to do 10 minutes.
Or yeah, that could be the case. Just keep that in mind, though.
And it takes nothing to do that first segment.
Do what?
It takes nothing to do that first segment.
That's good. Because you have a guest from here until the till 10:40 essentially, since we're playing Jakai Newton.
Oh.
Indiana men's soccer going for a Big Ten title this weekend, Ross Bunnell says. I used to keep up with Indiana soccer a whole lot more when I was younger. I had a picture, actually I had a frame of all of the signed player, of all the players signed a poster that won the 2012 national title. Had Eric Zavaleta on that team, who now plays, believe it or not, he plays for the national team, not for U.S., but for a different country in CONCACAF. I can't think of which country it is.
Hey, should this be Andy Moore?
It can be.
Well, they should be, first and second.
I don't know why I started making AAA second. I think it just kind of is the first thing on my list, like in terms of alphabetical order. But yeah, I can move it to Andy Moore.
And don't give up the allure when things are recorded. Don't mention that. It affects people's staying power. Believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Did
That's
we not
why
already say that earlier in the first segment?
I never say it.
Oh,
I say we have him. I never say how or and it's like when people say morning, I'm like, don't mention morning because it's not a morning show. Most people don't hear it in the morning. It's just recorded live in the morning is all. But the guests Kevin's bad at it, and I'm like, damn it, stop saying that. Just don't date it.
all right, here we go.
Any place your podcast or on this station each weekday. If we're not on the station where you live, we should be for Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Hey, welcome back. It is Thursday. Jim Coyle with you as always. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hope your week has gone well. Looking to talk to Matt Taylor and see if those Colts can keep things rolling. They started out with an 0-3 record, and now they're 3-4, and they should actually be 4-3 right now, to be honest with you. But that's okay. I mean, to go from 0-3 to 3-4, that's a nice switch. Hey, Matt, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm good. What's up?
Good. I was just talking about, you're looking at the Colts record right now at 3-4, and it could easily be 4-3. But even at 3-4, the fact that they're there after starting 0-3, that's a big jump. I know they would love to have had that game back against the Ravens, but it's still, man, they're getting it. It looks like it's the Titanic is slowly turning around, and it might miss the iceberg.
I like that. I like that a lot. No, I mean, if you look at it in the last month, the Colts are just playing some good football and they're taking care of business. I think they've beaten some teams they're supposed to take care of, right? Like beating Miami, taking care of Houston. Just horrible weather conditions the other night against San Francisco, and made enough plays, or I guess you could probably qualify it as saying that the team that makes the fewest amount of mistakes in a game like that was going to be the team to win. And that certainly qualifies as the Colts in that performance by taking care of the football to a better degree than San Francisco did with those 4 turnovers by their offense. But no, I mean, if you look at the last month, I mean, the Colts are playing really good football on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're scoring about 28 a game in the last month. They're averaging about 150 yards in the last 4 games. The offense is just explosive with, Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman, these guys drafted in the second round in 2020. They have just emerged as stars, with their respective skill sets, Pittman in the passing game and Taylor in the running game. Then defensively, they're giving up only about 17 a game in the last month. They have 10 takeaways since week 3. That's number 1 in the NFL. And then I think, again, going back to Taylor and Pittman, it just shows that the identity of the team is starting to form a little bit on both sides of the ball. You think players not play sometimes when you need a play to be made, and you think of your quarterback and Wentz, you think of your running back and Taylor, Pittman on the outside. He's had to emerge out of necessity because of T.Y. Hilton in and out of the lineup. Now Paris Campbell is out of the lineup. And then on defense, it's Darius Leonard. I mean, my gosh, what else can you say about this guy in terms of just being a ball magnet? I've never seen a guy more, prone to making a play. He's got a turnover play, or has been part of a takeaway in 5 straight games, 8 takeaways on the season for him alone. Jim, he has more takeaways by himself so far this season than 15 other teams through 7 games. So he's simply having an amazing season, and he's compromised with that bad ankle, which just underlines just how good he is, and how much he uses those football instincts to create game-changing performances. So a really, really good football team right now, and I think they're much better equipped because of all that I just said to beat the Titans, whereas in week 3, they were still banged up, and Carson Wentz was compromised on those bad ankles. I think this is a much better team about a month from then, and better equipped to beat the Titans in a gotta-have monster game on Sunday.
Absolutely. And those 15 possessions, or those 15 takeaways, that's 15 possessions, extra possessions. And I don't know, I don't have the research to go back and see how many points came out of that, but I'm sure there were points that came off of those 15 possessions from those takeaways.
Well, it's funny you say that, because the Colts actually on offense, they lead the NFL on points off turnovers, right? So that just speaks to everything that you just said. It's more opportunities for your offense. It's one less opportunity for the opposing offense. And I think the most impressive part about the Colts' ability to take the football away, they have 16 turnovers, tied for first in the NFL with Buffalo, is that they're getting these, Jim, without a dominant pass rush. The Colts don't have a guy off the edge like a Von Miller or a J.J. Watt, right? I mean, they don't have a bona fide guy. I mean, they don't even have a guy like Justin Houston, for that matter. They don't have like a 10 to 12 sack player. It's not like they have Mathis and Freeney on the bookends. They're getting these takeaways by just flying to the ball, being opportunistic, punching at the ball, being at the right place with interceptions. So just imagine how good this defense would be if some of their young playmakers up front could turn into 7, 8, 9 sack a season players like Kamoko Toure and Kwity Paye, who's a rookie. Once they get that a part of this defense, it could be even more scary.
And I'm looking at this schedule, man. It really looks kind of forgiving to Indianapolis, especially over the next 3 weeks or 5 weeks. You've got 3 straight home games, and 4 out of the next 5 are home. Of course, the first one coming up is a biggie with the Titans coming to town. But then you have the Jets and the Jaguars, who that should be some get-right games. But if they could go 3-0 in that stretch before Brady comes to town, that would just be phenomenal to get that turnaround, and that would put him at 6-4. That would be pretty good place to be again, especially after starting 0-3.
Right. No, I mean, like we always said, I mean, we talked about it in the summertime that on paper, that the back half of the schedule was way more forgiving than the first half of the schedule. I mean, those first 5 games, that was the toughest stretch for any team to start a season in the last 30 years based on last year's results. I mean, it's just crazy, the gauntlet. Now, no excuses, right? Because the Colts could have won, should have won a couple of those games, most specifically the Ram game, and then the Baltimore game, obviously losing that 19-point lead in the second half in the overtime period. So it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, to be 6-4 by Thanksgiving, and then to have Tom Brady and company come in on Sunday after Thanksgiving, that would be a monster feat considering starting 0-3. And it all starts, though. I mean, you can't really get too excited about what's coming down the pike, because if you lose this game, Jim, it's going to be really tough. It's not a must-win game. It's not a do-or-die game. It's not a Game 7 elimination type deal. But, man, it's pretty close, because I just don't think the Titans are going to fade away, right? I just think they're a pretty good football team, and I think they're a force to be reckoned with inside the AFC. I mean, as of right now, they're on a 3-game winning streak. They're 5-2. They're tied for the best record in the conference, and so far for them, they're navigating the most difficult part of their schedule, right? Because they're coming off really good performances against Buffalo, and they just dismantled the Chiefs the other day at Nissan Stadium down in Nashville. So I don't think they're going to fade away. And I know you still got 9 games to play after this one, but Jim, to be 0-3, or I should say to be back 3 games of Tennessee, and basically it's 4, right? Because you will have lost the head-to-head matchup. So that's like a 4th game, if you will. I don't know if that's just something I don't think you want to think about. That's a lot of ground to make up. Still, I know you got about half of the season left, but it goes back to what I said. I just don't think Tennessee's going to fade away. And so this game on Sunday is almost like a gotta-have type of game if you want to have sights on winning the AFC South.
Exactly. To me, this is either you're playing for a division title or now you're hoping for a wild card berth. Off of that game alone, I think is where that would head.
See, I think it's even more extreme than that, to be honest with you, because I think making the wild card after 0-3 start, I think that's going to be really difficult because of the parity in the AFC, and you've already lost some head-to-head matchups with teams that are going to be in the mix, right, for that wild card, most specifically, obviously the Baltimore Ravens. So that's what this team has to get back to. They have to start beating good competition. Historically, the last couple of years, Jim, the Colts have taken care of, teams that are beneath them or bottom feeders or inferior competition. The Colts are trying to break free of this mold as being the best team in the second tier, if you will. They want to crack themselves into that top tier, and they have lost 7 straight games against teams that made the playoffs in 2020. And so it just goes back to what we talked about. If you want to be a part of that group, you got to start beating teams of that group. And obviously it's a huge test coming up on Sunday because, again, I think Tennessee is squarely in the mix to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year. One other interesting tidbit regarding this matchup, in the last 4 seasons, the team that won the second matchup between the Colts and the Titans went on to make the playoffs, whereas the other one didn't.
What's the Titans record right now?
They're 5-2.
Oh, it would be hard to see them just fall off the cliff like that, even if they lost that game. But
right,
I guess the wild card situation, like you said, is precarious. Who knows what happens? I don't know what their schedule's like on the backside. So who knows? But yeah, it looks like things. At least they're lined up. The Colts, they have the opportunities. They just have to take care of them and knock those dominoes down, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you got to take care of business, and it's these Halloween home games for the Colts are precious. I looked it up the other day. The Colts have not played on Halloween at home since 1999, so I think it's going to be fun. I think people are going to be into it. Obviously, it's a huge game. I think people are gonna be dressed up in costumes, right?
Well, they're going to party like it's 1999. Oh man, what do you dread? What do you? So then by rule, you have to dress up for Halloween to do the game on Sunday, I'm assuming, right? So who are you going as Jim Irsay? Who are you going as?
I'm going as you. I think I'm just going to go as you. I'm going to bring.
Oh, you want the Invisible Man? Yeah, the Invisible Man. That would be good. I wish I could do that.
I'm just going as my idols.
Oh yeah, right, man, buddy. I hope you have a good one. What else you got planned? Are you taking the little one out? I know he's teeny tiny, but you're taking the little one trick or treating?
Yeah, we're gonna come home after the game on Sunday, hopefully after a win. And yeah, we got the 2 little ones. The older one's going as a witch, and then I don't know what the little guy's gonna do. Maybe we'll scrounge something up. Maybe like find an elephant costume or something for him and stick him in the stroller and see what comes about.
He said, "Just give me candy, baby.
Right.
Give me candy." All right, brother. Well, I appreciate you so much. Look forward to it. Hopefully, we'll see you on Sunday.
All right, man. Be well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joining us here to give us an update as they are trying to get that ship turned around, man. And they're getting it done, but we'll see how they can get that entirely or not. And then, yeah, Halloween on Sunday. I just now realized that. So you're going to see a lot of people dressed up at the Colts game on Sunday. Oh my, that should be fun. Now, can you imagine? My only wish is they were playing the Oakland Raiders on Halloween. And I hope the Oakland Raiders are playing at home because, well, it won't be the same in Las Vegas. I keep calling them Oakland already. The Las Vegas Raiders, rather. But I wish they were in Oakland because on this Halloween, those people were nuts. Five Laughs asked me if I watch Squid Games. Well, I don't know what it is. So no, I don't even know what that is. John, do you know what that is?
Squid Game is a new TV show on Netflix. It's kind of like The Hunger Games, if you know what The Hunger Games is.
I am aware of it, yes.
So
I did see
haven't seen
I
it.
did see the first. I saw the first Hunger Game movie.
But these people that get drug into this game, they all have debt, and if they can make it, they can survive through the 6 of these games, they get this cash prize. But if they don't win, they die. It's also kind of like the Saw movies. If you've seen Saw, if you kind of think about it like that.
Yeah, I've seen those, man. Yeah, I've seen those. A lot of football playoffs this weekend for the high schools. Tim asked if I'm going to be able to make it down for Floyd and Albany. I probably not. Too busy. I would try, but yeah, football section's going on this weekend. You got that. Get out and see a high school game, man. They're in playoff time. Should be some great. We'll look forward to. As a matter of fact, we're talking to Cal Neddenriep today, so we'll get updated on all that. So that's perfect. And I want Chris Denari. I wonder if they're going to have the game on Halloween. If it was what he'll dress up as. So have to get that checked in. But yeah, that would be. They should make all the Colts people dress up as on Halloween, or spray paint the uniforms or something and make them glow. Or I'm surprised who was it that did they did an NFL game in a Nickelodeon form a while back.
They did that for the Super Bowl this past year.
Was that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Try to get the kids more involved with NFL, I guess.
Yeah. Wasn't my cup of tea. I'd rather, but whatever. I mean, that's what. Yeah, I thought that was silly personally. I mean, I don't think that's no different than airing cigarette commercials to somebody. I don't think you need to be going after targeting kids that young, but oh well. Whatever. We're about to hit break time. Who's coming up next? Oh, Cal Neddenriep. Perfect timing. We'll talk about all those football sectionals in action coming up when we come back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, brought to you by the great folks at Andy Moore Honda. They've got deals for you right now. 2021 and 2022 Honda Pilots, 2021 Honda Passports, $0 down, 0% APR financing, and everything they're doing this month, it's tough enough to wear pink month. They're helping out the American Cancer Society and breast cancer. So every vehicle you buy there will help that. And if you tell me you heard it on Indiana Sports Beat Radio, we'll make sure you get a pair of Indiana basketball tickets. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Hey, we all need insurance.
Hey, you got to remind me to play that sound in the only remaining open segment.
What sound? Oh, Mike Loxley.
Yes.
Will do. And if not, we can save it for tomorrow if we need it. All right, got about 30 seconds, Jim.
Honda of Bloomington has the deals for you. How about a brand new 2021 or 2022 Honda Pilot? All the trims for 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Or how about a brand new 2021 Honda Passport? Also 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by AAA Insurance. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Hey, if you're in the Southwest Indiana, Southern Illinois area, down in Evansville, check out our friends at AAA Insurance, one of our partnering sponsors. We all need insurance. You need to be insured by someone who cares about you and cares about bringing this type of programming to you. AAA Insurance does just that. You could reach them at 812-477-9966 for all your insurance needs. AAA Insurance. Waiting on Kyle Neddenriep to join us to talk some high school sports. But before I do that, I'm going to get on something that someone sent me last night. This is from Hazard, Kentucky. Hazard High School investigating man pageant event with lamp dances and hooter outfits. This is from Fox News, WDRB.com, or our good friend Rick Bozich. Same company. A Kentucky school district confirmed on Wednesday it is investigating social media post of a homecoming event showing male teenagers in skimpy clothing giving lap dances to school staff, including the principal. Social media post emerging from Hazard High School in Hazard, Kentucky. Showing the teenage boys give the lap dances has prompted outrage from parents on social media. According to the Lexington Herald Leader, the incident is under investigation. As you know, anything under investigation, I can't really talk about it. Independent Superintendent Sandra Combs told the Herald Leader without describing the photos. Once the investigation is complete, appropriate action will be taken. And they show a Twitter post that says, exactly what is going on here, y'all? Come on, Hazard, get it together. As I open up the pictures to see, it's going to show me. Yeah, that's a little weird. Wow. Holy. Yeah. There's Kyle. Well, you missed out on the lap dances from Hazard, Kentucky, Kyle. But there we go, man. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just that silly story, but a lot of football coming this way. The playoffs are in swing. Sectionals are starting, and it's time to live or die, right?
Yeah, so it should be a really good week of football this week, I think. So yeah, looking forward to it.
What are some of the we talk about sometimes you get these early games that are bigger games that you'd really rather them not be until the finals. But are there any bigger games tonight? Or this weekend, rather, that are coming sooner rather than we'd like to see them?
Yeah, I would say There's a few. I would say most of it kind of worked out this year, where you see most of the sectional finals should be the better games, which is kind of how you want it to be. Right. Such as Carmel, Brownsburg should be playing next week. One of the bigger games up here is Fishers and Hamilton Southeastern, but HSC won that game pretty handily last time, and that should set up where they'll play Westfield next week, and those are two teams. I think HSE is 7th in 6A and Westfield's number 2. So that'd be a top 10 matchup probably next week. Although Fishers is a pretty good team. So, and then, Lawrence North and Warren Central, 2 more top 10 teams probably will play each other next week. So especially in 6A, I would say most of the better games are set up to play next week, which is how you kind of line it up if you were seeding it. I'm going to go cover Mooresville and East Central tomorrow night, which should be, in Class 4A, that's a top 10 matchup. Mooresville is ranked number 6, and East Central, I believe, is they're in the top 10 as well. They're 8-2, and lost to Ron Colley in a close game. So, they're definitely a team that can knock off Mooresville potentially, and Mooresville around here, one of the better 4A teams, certainly in the state as well. So that should be one of the best games of the night. So mostly it's in the smaller classes. I would say you have some better, closer matchups. I would say, and 6A you're always going to have some, but not. I think it kind of worked out this year for the most part with. Teams kind of lining up to play each other in the championship game.
Yeah, it sure does. I'm looking across there, and it looks like they almost did it on purpose because it looks pretty good from a draw standpoint as the teams can move on, which is what you want to see. That more championship type play. 5A or anything sticking out there for you?
Well, I was going to say, Cathedral and Decatur would play next week too. That'd be number 1 versus number 2 in 5A. So maybe the one team that has a chance in 5A, to maybe play with Cathedral, I would say, is Decatur. Cathedral has to play Plainfield this week. But Plainfield, they're definitely, if they were in a different sectional, they'd have a chance. I just don't think with this particular Cathedral team, they probably have much of a chance. But Decatur, the problem they have is their quarterback, Asen Stevens, who's Tommy Stevens' younger brother, who's played in the NFL, and he's a really good player, going to be a Division I. He's only a junior, but had an ACL injury earlier this season, so they've had to move Javon Tracy, who's a great athlete, and he'll be playing at Miami of Ohio next year. One of those, the third in the line of the Tracy brothers who've been playing forever at Decatur, it seems like. But he's moved to a quarterback, and he's not necessarily a quarterback. He's an athlete who's a great athlete, playing receiver mostly and running back and defensive back. But they've had to move him to quarterback, where he's dangerous. But that has diminished their team not having Asen Stevens. So, but we'll see. I think Decatur may be the one team that could give Cathedral some trouble potentially, and that game would be next week as well. And then 5A, you also have Columbus East and Whiteland playing tonight or tomorrow night. Whiteland, I'd say the better team. Columbus East kind of having a down year.
Yeah, I was going to point that game out because Whiteland has won they finished the season winning their last 3 games. They went from 2-3 to 5-3, and Columbus East, man, having gone to Floyd Central and been in the Hoosier Hills Conference, they didn't dominate when we were there, of course, but after that, they've dominated for like 13 years. I mean, I think they won the conference title 13 straight years at least, maybe. Or I don't think they lost a game in that period, rather.
Yeah, I think it went back to almost 20 years. They haven't had a losing season even since 2002. So, Bob Gaddis had always had that program on, top-notch program. And, so they're going through a little bit of a changeover. And Darren Fisher at Whiteland, if people don't know, he's one of the best coaches around in Central Indiana. And they had a really good team last year. They're probably not quite as overall as talented this year, but if Cathedral hadn't been in their way in the regional last year, that's a team that could have gone a long way. And they routed New Pal last year in the sectional finals. So I would say they're probably, I think they'll beat Columbus East, and then it's a matter of Franklin's only 3-6, but they're a good team. New Pal 6-3, and they're a good team. So that sectional 14 probably is pretty wide open, I would say. And even Columbus East is not they're 4-5. They're not terrible, but I would give Whiteland probably a slight advantage to win that sectional. And, but that's, again, one of the more, wide open sectionals. It's good to see, one of those teams will, get through and should be a pretty good challenge as they get into the regional round.
Yeah, Lebanon, Roncalli, that's a heck of a matchup. Lebanon having a good year at 7-3, but Roncalli finished undefeated.
Yeah, Lebanon started 0-3 and then got it going, and they had a tough schedule obviously to start, but they've got it rolling now. Roncalli is just a different their offensive line is just massive. I don't think they'll have too much trouble in this one. They beat Lebanon pretty handily last year. Like I said, Lebanon's better, I think, and Roncalli's probably they're probably slightly better too than even their state championship team last year, but they're really a senior led team, and they're just so solid. I don't know if there's a whole lot of 6A teams even that could beat Roncalli. So, they're just one of those teams. This is a kind of an interesting year because all these top teams like Center Grove, Cathedral, Roncalli, at least in those three classes, 4A, 5A, 6A, are, I would say, pretty clearly the number one teams. Roncalli may be the one where you'd say, a team like East Central or Mooresville or, some outlier may have a chance to beat them. Whereas, Cathedral, it's going to be, I think most people have already penciled them in as a state champ. I think Center Grove, maybe to a slightly lesser extent because of the challenges that 6A provides. But I would say they're, those three classes, I think if those three teams don't win it, it would be somewhat of a surprise.
We need a Center Grove Cathedral matchup.
Again?
They played earlier this year?
Yeah, the last game of the season, it was 21 in the Mud Bowl. So
I missed that. What was the score? 21 to, was it close?
21-6, but it was 6-0 late in the Cathedral led that game late in the third. It was
holy cow.
Huge game around here. I mean, it was tons of people.
I think you did. They said that. Yes, need another one. Need another one on synthetic turf. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. Let's just line them up, and that would probably be interesting. It sounds like, but
yeah, I think most people would be in for that. It would be a huge, the crowd was huge. It was a great game. It was, they played at Arlington on the grass, and it was a mess. And Center Grove people still mad that they had to play there. But I think Cathedral probably, they played most of their games at Arlington this year. They're playing this week at UIndy on the turf. So I think Center Grove people are like, well, why didn't we get to play on turf when we played? But they won the game nonetheless, and they it was a really good game though. I'd say it was 21-6, but it was 6-0 Cathedral late in the third before Center Grove kind of got going finally, and had a long run and then a long pass by Taven Jackson made it 14-6, and they stuck one in the end zone in the last 30 seconds that made the score look bigger than it actually was. But Cathedral, they were the one team this year to hang with Center Grove, and I don't know if playing on turf, I think they'd hang with them too. They did last year. They almost beat them last year in the last game. So that's a game. It's been kind of the best game of the year each of the last 2 years, probably the two best teams in the state, I'd say.
Well, looking forward to it and all of them, and make sure you guys get out and go to these games and support the high school football games. I want to switch gears a little bit. Donovan McCulley, not expected to play down at IU after, he's coming out of a great high school career. Now he's been thrust in after the injuries, Kyle, with Michael Penix going down, Jack Tuttle then going down. Indiana's actually we don't even know who's going to start. I'm going to guess it's going to be Grant Gremmel, the walk-on, but that Donovan McCulley is going to see ample playing time now, a lot sooner than he expected. Their plan was to redshirt him this year, but that went out the window. So, and you've covered him so much, and to see him get this opportunity this quickly, how do you think that he's going to fare, and how can he navigate these waters?
It's hard. I mean, Donovan was a guy, and I think he's still, I'm not sure how many games he's played in so far, but I think if you're 4 or less, you can still have your redshirt year. So hopefully that can happen for him. And if that's okay.
I think they pretty much already said that plan's out the window.
Well, there's not very many games left, I guess. Yeah, so I don't know, but anyway, I would say he's got an opportunity here to get his feet wet and hopefully help himself for the future. The thing with Donovan is, just even in high school, and I think most quarterbacks are this way. It's just a matter of getting getting used to the speed of the game. And you saw it even with him when he was a sophomore. He started as a sophomore at Lawrence North, and you could already see the talent there. It was just a matter for him of processing coverages, and this is at the high school level, which is obviously way different. And he was younger, obviously, but processing coverages and getting the ball out more quickly and not hanging on to the ball. He would hang on to the ball until and scramble around. And by the time he was a senior, that stuff he was like men against boys in a lot of games, and that's at a pretty high level in the mix. So, he's got the physical build, I would say. He's got a competitive nature to him. You'd see it in basketball. He was a big time player on their state finalist basketball team with CJ Gunn and those guys they had, DJ Hughes and those guys they had, Shamar Avance. That was a really good team, and he was kind of the fourth guy, who would do the dirty work and rebounding, and that's nothing to do with football, but it does have something to do with how competitive you are, and
Yep.
so I think that he's got the ability. Clearly, he's got the arm strength, he's got the elusiveness and speed, and I think when it hits for him, it's going to really hit. It's just a matter of there's going to be especially for a guy who's just a true freshman. Everything's happening so fast, and you're playing Big Ten defense. It's not like you're playing nothing against the MAC, but I think it's easier to go into a conference like that where even a conference that's a Pac-12 or something like that. I mean, the Big Ten just so good defensively this year and most years that you're running into defensive coordinators who know what they're doing, and mostly for the most part veteran defenses who are going to give you trouble. But I don't think there's any doubt about his future and what he can give you long term, and it's I think still a bright future no matter what happens down the stretch here for him.
Yeah, ironically, I pulled up an older article of yours that was titled "State's Top Quarterback Prospect Donovan McCulley on His Top 5 Lessons Learned from Basketball."
Yeah,
very ironic. It's very, very cool and very pertinent there. Yeah,
he's
I'm trying to go through. Go ahead.
He's really I thought he was it was good. I think when players are able to kind of be a star in one sport and then play a complementary role in another sport, it kind of shows you who they are as a athlete. And he was perfectly fine to be a kind of a secondary player. He was a major player for him, but he wasn't like the main. He wasn't out there trying to score like 20 points a game or any. He was getting tip-ins. He was blocking shots. He was often matched up with the best defensive, the best offensive player on the other team. And honestly, Omar Cooper, who's going to IU too, from Lawrence North, he's that way as a basketball player, kind of like that glue guy, and doesn't shoot a lot, but he will
always around the rim, always around the ball.
Yeah. So it's I mean, you can always bring it back to basketball in Indiana, right? So I think it's cool that he played throughout his senior year. I think where some guys don't, they want to get to school early in January, or just not, maybe take kind of just wait it out and get ready for their college. But I thought it was cool he played and was a big part of that team. Whereas when he was a junior, he wasn't even for sure if he was going to come out for the team, and kind of, decided to, and then he was pretty deep on the bench. And then by the end of the year, I mean, he was a huge part of that right before the virus, that last sectional that I covered. He made a shot at the end of I can't remember if it was Warren, or I think it was the Warren game, and they won by 1 point. He made a shot at the end of the game, and all of a sudden he was a huge part of that team down the stretch. So, he was kind of questioning if he should even play, and he decided to, and it worked out for him.
You think about the top football players that have played in the basketball tournament here of late. DeJuan Jones, names like that comes to mind. Did he play? He played for his school, didn't he? I can't remember. Did he play?
Oh, DeJuan. Yeah, he was.
Yeah. He was a bad man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved watching him on the floor. I remember watching him in the junior all-star game and just laughing, because that was the time they brought him in off the couch.
Yeah. Well, he That kid loved basketball. He still does. He shows up. He'll be at games and that aren't even Ben Davis where he went to school. He'll just show up at games if he's back in town. I saw him in a couple of games last year. But that kid, if he would have had a chance to, if he wasn't going to be an NFL type of talent, he'd be playing at like Cleveland State or Kent State or something because he did have some MAC offers, but he had obviously bigger offers in football. But that kid loved basketball. He had a great senior year, and he was an Indiana All-Star. I mean, he was really good. I mean, he made helped them make the state finals. And he was one of their top 2 players. So, but yeah, that kid loves basketball.
He was an immovable object.
Yeah, he was such a force, and he also could shoot. I mean,
he had touch. His footwork was amazing.
Yeah,
he's 6'9", whatever he is, 350. He had nice footwork.
He's a truly amazing athlete for a guy that size. I don't know how he could move, which is why he's an NFL prospect.
Exactly. I was going to say that's why you'll be seeing him on Sundays. Kyle, I can't thank you enough, brother. I'd stay busy. Don't work too hard running around this weekend. I know you got to have your track shoes on, but we appreciate you very much.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
You bet. Kyle Neddenriep from the Indy Star joining us here. We got lots more coming up. Chris Denari from the Pacers and more on top of that. Who else we got? Oh, Jakai Newton. Stick around. That and more after this. Brought to you by the great folks of AAA Insurance. If you're in Southwest Indiana, Southern Illinois, check out AAA Insurance. Be sure by someone who cares about you. 812-477-9966. Back right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
If you're in the market for a new Oh my goodness. It's hot. All right.
Make sure you get, and this is, I'm sure you know this, but just make sure you get Chris out normal time because the Jakai Newton interview is long.
How long?
25 minutes.
All right. Well, then we got open time after that, though, right?
But you don't want to make sure you don't run over those still is what I'm saying.
We're not going to run over. I mean, I'd have to take Chris 20
What's
extra
up,
minutes to run over.
No, and you're probably right. I'm just throwing it out there.
What's up, brother? Appreciate it.
How you doing?
Great. How are you, sir?
I saw your I tuned in the other night. I didn't know you did that show with Mitchell Paige.
Oh, we did. Yeah, I started doing that. It didn't work out too well this year, unfortunately, right now because the team. But we had hoped for it to be better. But yeah, that was something to try to start doing.
Yeah, Mitchell. I've known Mitchell a long time. He played high school basketball with my son.
Oh, really? At Garin?
In fact, I called his first touchdown when he was at IU when I was doing games on BTN.
Oh, wow. Man, he is so cool. Man, I love Mitch.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
He's a nut is what he is.
Oh, yeah.
He is.
He's a big Pacers fan, too. I mean, he's I see.
Oh, he's a sports fan. He's crazy.
Yeah.
We were doing stuff together. Then he's like, within a day, he's like, hey, I'm going to Austria. I'm like, what? I said, when are you coming back? He goes, oh, I'm not. I'm going down there to play football. I'm like,
I remember that. Yeah.
He's crazy. He's a nut. Great golfer.
Oh, he's a really good golfer.
God dang it. Me and him and his dad played at French Lick once.
Yeah, I went to high school with his mom.
That's funny. Great dude.
Yeah.
Love Mitch.
I haven't seen him for a while. I mean, he's here in Indy, right?
He moved down to the Carolinas.
He's down in South Carolina in Charleston.
Oh, geez. I need to let our oldest son, he knows Mitchell. My oldest son lives in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's crazy. I've talked to him one day and he's in Austria. Then he's back. Then he's in South Carolina. I'm like, what? I'm like,
he was working in sales, right?
Yeah, well, now he's getting into commercial real estate, I believe.
Okay.
He was selling joints.
Yeah.
Before he went to Austria.
Okay.
Living his best life, I guess.
Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink. This segment is brought to you by Sam's Family of Restaurants. Fresh, local, family. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. How's everybody going? It is Thursday, and that means our good friend Chris Denari from the Pacers joins us. Man, the Pacers are there, but they're allowing too many points. They just got to tighten that defense up.
Yeah, last night was sort of a forgettable night. A Toronto team that's very athletic, very young. OG Anunoby, IU fans know a lot about him. He
buried it.
Yeah, he scored 25 last night, hit 4 of 10 from three. It was a Toronto team that came in shooting 29% from three-point range, and Fred VanVleet, their best player, was shooting about 29% from three. And VanVleet last night hit 6 of 7. Scored 26 points. They hit 14 of 30, which is near 50%. And after the Pacers in the second quarter, had a chance and had the lead, they allowed Toronto to go on a run, and they just played from behind the entire way. And then there were some injury issues late. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon left with a hamstring issue, soreness, and then Isaiah Jackson got kicked in the leg, the rookie out of Kentucky, by Domantas Sabonis, and it looked pretty serious. We'll have to wait and see today. They stayed overnight in Toronto. They're practicing there today, and then they'll fly to Brooklyn later today, where they play the Nets tomorrow night. So, this Pacers team already has enough injuries to deal with. I guess the one positive, Jim, is we're getting closer to Karis LeVert coming back. He's starting to go full go in practice, and I don't know if he'll play tomorrow night. I think there might be a chance that he could play Saturday when Toronto is back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. But, that's sort of the bright news out of what really was a forgettable night last night.
Yeah, but hopefully they'll get that turned around. But, of course, Toronto's not exactly they didn't lose to some cellar dweller. It's a good team. But they're right there. They're defensively, they just seem like they can't get it locked down at the moment.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that this team struggles with, they're trying to get more athletic by adding Chris Duarte and Isaiah Jackson, but you really saw it last night. I mean, that's been Toronto's calling card, even with the players that they have now, a number of them that are new, is they're just very athletic, and they forced 23 turnovers, and the Pacers gave up 31 points on those. The second chance, the Raptors scored 33 second chance points. So Jim, I think if you do the math, they had 33 second chance points and they had 31 points off turnovers. That's 60, wow. That's 64 of their 118. I mean,
yikes!
You can't win games when you do that. So
no,
but it was a crazy night in the NBA last night. The Lakers had a 26-point lead on the road in Oklahoma City against one of the youngest, least experienced teams in the league. They didn't have LeBron James. And Russell Westbrook got thrown out in a place where he called home for years. Oklahoma City comes back and wins. Last night at Milwaukee, after they handled the Pacers on Monday, Karl Anthony Towns in Minnesota goes into Fiserv Forum and beats the Bucks. What it shows is every night you have to be ready to play. All of these teams, I don't care from if you're 30th or 28th, you've got college All-Americans, you've got international players that are very talented. Anybody can get you on any given night. And that's what happened last night. And I think for the Pacers, they just have, as you said, they have to come out with more force defensively. We saw that on Saturday in the win against Miami. Miami's a really good team, and the Pacers held them to 92 points. They played with a force defensively that it was tough to play that way against Milwaukee. Giannis just did whatever he wanted to do, and he had 40 last night against Minnesota. But last night, they just didn't play with enough force defensively. And then I thought offensively, they played not timid, but when you turn it over that many times and allow 31 points, it's just tough to play. So it really starts, you're right, it starts on the defensive end. When you play with force and you play with an energy on the defensive end, it carries over to the offense. By not playing that well and that way defensively, it carried over to the offense, and they created all those turnovers.
Yeah, and hopefully they can get that moving forward. It seemed like they're going in the right direction and they're playing solidly, but not having everybody together. Yeah. We've seen with the Colts. I was talking to Matt Taylor earlier today. They started out 0-3, but they were hobbled. And now, as they get things, they're looking way better, real quick, and so things can turn around pretty quickly.
Yeah, and sometimes when you change philosophy, change coaches, change a system, sometimes things aren't as good early as they will be later, right? Because this coaching staff is trying to figure out who they have, what they have. Rick Carlisle is trying to figure out what combinations he can use on the floor in certain situations. He's without two of his best players in TJ Warren and Karis LeVert. You've got guys a little banged up. So it really creates some problems. It also creates some opportunities for some guys to step up, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and so how do they get there in your estimation from what you've seen so far? What's it going to take for them to get to that sweet spot?
Yeah, I think it is, as you said, it starts on the defensive end. This team has to do the little things. It doesn't have superstars. It has good players, but they've got to do more of the little things that add up to the big things. And you've got to focus on that. And I think that's one of the things that Rick Carlisle has said is that it's really got to start on the defensive end. You've got to have a mindset. You've got to play with a will on the defensive end, and that will carry over to the rest of your game. The one thing that's interesting is this has been a poor rebounding team the last few years, no matter who coached it. Nate McMillan, Nate Bjorkgren. They've been a better rebounding team this year. The rebounds were, I think, just a 1 rebound difference. But it was crazy. This is where numbers don't tell the story, right, Jim? Because the Pacers got out rebounded 41-40. That sounds pretty good. But they gave up 16 offensive rebounds. And Toronto had 21 more shots last night than the Pacers. Even though Toronto shot less, they shot 46%, and the Pacers shot 48%. They had so many more opportunities that it didn't matter. So it's just got to start with a mindset. The players after the game, pointed the finger at them, said, hey, we didn't come to play. We were not ready. And again, as I just said, I don't care. A lot of people, they don't understand the NBA because it's 82 games. There's so many games. If you don't come ready to play on a particular night, I don't care who you play. That team has more than enough talent to beat you. It's really not the same, in my estimation, as college basketball. Oh, there he is.
There you go. I was kind of off a little bit, but that was kind of why I was trying to get him snuck in there to make that happen.
What's up, Mitchell Paige?
Mr. Denari, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I had lost track of you for a while, and they told me you're down in Charleston.
Oh, yeah. I just moved down here about a month and a half ago. Love it. I'm sure you spent some time here.
You're going to have to hook up with Evan because he's not far away from you. He's in Myrtle Beach.
Perfect. Is he a big golfer?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And and Mitchell, he owns his own business now. So he's got plenty.
So that means he has to pay for your round, Mitchell.
That's right.
What's he doing?
He owns his own landscape company. He and 2 partners branched out, and he's going to get married in June. His fiance was a news anchor down in Myrtle Beach. She went to UK. She's from Louisville. And you're not that far away.
No, that I would have never known. I'm so happy to know that. I'm probably going to message him right now.
Yeah, that you should. Now, Jim, see, this is like Jim has reunited us, right?
I know.
I love it. I love it.
I told Jim the story, Mitchell. I told Jim the story that I went to high school with your mom. Mm-hmm. And then you played high school basketball with Will. Mm-hmm. One of the highlights, I got to call your first touchdown, right? When you were at IU.
It's still to this day, the coolest thing. Like when my mom and I watched that, it's just I cannot believe that Chris's voice is calling this play.
Do you have a copy of that, Mitch?
Do I have a copy?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, I just asked that, sometimes that's
of course. Dude, that was like the greatest time of my life. I don't want to say I watch them every week, but it might be more often.
You'll have to send it to us, and for next week I'll play that. I can't.
I just want to know how the golf game is, Mitchell.
I went overseas again this past summer just to kind of hang out. So it went bad, but then I'm down in Charleston.
Yeah.
Some good golf down here. It's
That's
getting
right.
better.
Yeah.
I'm playing okay right now.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I played with him once.
I mean, he's like Rory McIlroy. He's this.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
Easy.
Trust me.
No, he's
Off
this
the brakes
short,
here, guys.
short, compact guy that can get hit at a mile.
Like
I'm not-
Altuve. He's like Altuve for the Astros.
Except I don't think I could hit a baseball. You gave me all the money in the world.
Man. Well, you can sure hit a golf ball. But yeah, this is a force of whenever you come up, we got to play. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I would love to do that, get you guys together, but that would be hilarious. But I'm glad I can get you all together. As soon as he said that, I'm like, I just started working on my phone. That's why I wasn't too good. That's why I was like in and out. I was kind of half there, Chris. I
Well,
apologize.
Jim, you should be happy because I get notifications when your show is on.
I love
And
that.
I had seen it before, and the notification came on, and it said Jim Coyle and Mitchell Paige, Monday night quarterback. So I went and watched a little bit, and then Mitchell, I told Jim, I said, hey, I watched the show, and then I said how we're connected, and he's like, this is like the 6 degrees of Mitchell Paige.
Or the 6 degrees of Chris Denari. That's what I'd probably say.
That Mitchell Paige degree goes a long way in a lot of different directions. So yeah, we could. You're kind of the linchpin.
Yeah, I suppose. I heard Chris talking some Pacer basketball.
Yeah, I heard you're a big Pacer fan.
I'm a huge Pacer fan. I'd love to hear just a 5-second, why are we 1-4?
Oh, boy. Well, I'll tell you why we're 1-4 last night, Mitchell, because the Raptors had 31 points off turnovers and 33 second chance points. That'll tell you why.
Yeah, I came in a little bit for the offensive
Yeah, I will say this.
rebound
I will say this. Last night was the worst performance of the year in the first 5. They should have won games 1 and 2. They had a 24-point lead in Charlotte, and they led in Washington. And those two teams are playing pretty good right now. Beat a really good Miami team. Lost to Milwaukee. The Pacers have just had no answer for Giannis. And ironically, and you've followed them enough, they struggle up in Toronto. I don't care who the coach is, who the players are.
Always
14 straight up in Toronto, and their length and athleticism has always given the Pacers problems. They don't have Siakam right now, but they've got enough other young guys that they just sort of pack the paint. I mean, Sabonis struggled last night. He couldn't get a lot of clean looks. So, somehow you just sort of write that one off. You got to learn from it for sure. Player, you got to learn from it, but you can't get caught in them too long because you got so many more coming.
I know it. That's I came in just at the last little part about offensive rebounding in 82 games and let's go do it again. That's just insane to me how they do that. I do have a question about the young kid.
Yeah.
Chris
Duarte?
Yeah.
He
seems like he's a player.
Yeah, I think he's going to be really good. I mean, I don't want to put this on him, but I think he is he's a guy that down the road I really think could be an all-star. I mean, he's a guy, when people ask me, who does he remind you of? He reminds me a little bit of Devin Booker from the standpoint. He's a different build, but he can get his own shot. He can shoot the three. He's probably more athletic than Booker. Booker has a different type of body, but he just plays at a pace that you really like. He doesn't get flustered. Some people will say that's because he's 24 years old. Well, he hasn't played basketball all that long. I mean, he came to the States when he was a junior in high school. So I think he has a chance to be really good. And I think once he is able to establish a pro body, and I mean that from the standpoint you're working with a performance staff, 24/7. I mean, you know what it's like. I mean, when you're in college, you're playing football, but you got to go to class. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to do. When you're a pro, as you have been, you can focus on that and do that 100% of the time. So I think he's going to be really, really good. He's had 5 double-figure games to start. A long way to go, but I think it was a really solid draft pick by the Pacers.
That's great news. I think they've just, for whatever reason, struggled probably since Paul George.
Yeah.
And getting a guy that can get his own shot. That's such a unique gift for anybody, especially at that level. You just don't see it very often, and the guys that can are the all-stars in the league. So that hearing you say that he can get his own shot when we need a big shot is as a fan.
And that'll help, when they get LeVert back, and should be soon. They're playing without TJ Warren. With LeVert and Warren, those are two of the best guys that can get their own shot. And you're right, Mitchell. The league is so talented that everybody's running the same stuff, the same actions, and all those kinds of things. And when the shot clock gets down to 10, you hit on it. You have to be able to go. And you've got to have multiple players, in my estimation, to go. Because if it's just one guy, they will lock and load on that guy. And so that's what Pacers fans are waiting for. You hate to keep saying it. It feels like we've said that for the last 2 years with all these injuries, but you're dealt the hand you're dealt, and they've got to get through it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm glad I could make this happy reunion. We could do this anytime you want, Mitch. You're always around. Chris is on every Thursday with us. That's why I
was going to say is, like, he's got that maroon on, and he lives down in South Carolina now. I thought that was like a South Carolina color.
Gamecock got the Gamecocks going.
Crimson red.
It's
the Gamecocks. Wow, man, look at you. What a traitor already.
Hey, I go into these places watching games.
I hear you.
98% of the people are watching South Carolina.
Win in Rome.
Win in
Rome.
Yeah. Win in Rome. No. When Indiana's on, I'm the loudest in the bar. Trust me. Trust me.
Well, hopefully you'll have something to be loud this weekend. Man, I can't thank you for jumping on with us.
Hey, great to see you, Mitchell.
You too.
Chris. All right, we'll text. Let Evan know you're there.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Right, see you.
Thank you, brother. Chris, can't thank you enough as well. Glad to have a little family reunion. Always
that was
fun.
a nice surprise.
Always fun, but thanks, and don't work too hard. And
all right,
we'll see what they can get this thing turned around.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Chris Denari, brought to you by the great folks at Psalms Family of Restaurants. Make sure you get out and check out one of the Psalms locations around the Indianapolis area. We've got more coming up. Big guest, Jakai Newton, up next after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Whether it's a celebration or just...
All right, so here's how this is going to work. I know I kind of explained to you last night, but once we start and the commercial's over, I don't have to mute your microphone. So if you need to communicate with me, you'll need to text me.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Can't wait to get Josh Hoover on again.
Somebody do something. Were you just saying?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring this back in, and then I'll mute your microphone.
2021 or 2022 Honda Pilot, all the trims for 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Or how about a brand new 2021 Honda Passport, also 0% APR financing over 48 months and $0 down. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. Of course, Indiana Sports Beat coming to you, and a very, very special guest, Indiana's latest commit, Jakai Newton from Georgia, along with his mother, Bettina. We're hoping the father could join. Maybe he can get on a little bit later. And that's the one thing that I have to say about you guys. You all just seem like such a family, and everything I've seen is family, family, family.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah.
How does and that has to help to have that support in all that you do, because everything we know that when you get to the higher level, you've got to have support, and the best support of all is right at home in the family.
I mean, yeah, that's true. They always with me, the goods, the bad stuff. So they always there.
There's Big Papa joins us now. There's Brandon, Jakai's dad, jumping in. Hey, sir, how are you? Jim Coyle. Appreciate you joining us.
Jim?
Pretty good.
How
man.
you doing, Jim?
Good.
I'm all
How are
right.
you, sir? Awesome.
I'm doing okay. I'm sorry if y'all I'm riding off somewhere.
That's all right. They got to send you off to work. Somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jakai, you make your commitment, and you make it kind of early with 2 years yet to go. What prompted you to get that out of the way? Did you want to just have that done? You knew where you wanted to go, and the decision was done, and you wanted to focus on your next 2 years. What brought you to making that commitment this early?
I mean, I didn't plan on committing when I took the visit. Indiana was always at the top of my list, but I never planned on committing this early. But just seeing that, taking that visit, and seeing how everything was, it was like the icing on the cake.
What are some of the things that stuck out? What was the very first thing that just made you go, daggone?
Probably talking to Coach Wilson, just seeing how he was, because I didn't know what to expect, like from him or being an ex-NBA coach and all that stuff. So I really didn't know what to expect, but he's super cool. Like, he's just a super cool dude. And I feel like that's somebody I'd love to have as my coach in the future.
Well, he certainly seems to be a player's coach. Been around him and how that was. He has that atmosphere around him, but he also has a very, very calm demeanor, and you can kind of tell he knows where he's going. I'm sure that was very attractive to you.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. You said it, yeah, definitely.
And of course, being in the NBA, having coached there before, everyone's dream is to move on to the next level, and to have someone like Coach Woodson, who has been there and has played the game so long, that's got to be something you also took into account to making your decision, I would imagine.
Definitely. I mean, his experience, all I can do is learn from him. So the opportunities, a lot that can come from that.
And Brandon and Bettina, the parents, normally when kids, like I said, they wait till their senior year, but he wanted to get this out of the way. Were you guys comfortable with that? Did you have the same comfort level at IU when you came? Did it all hit you the same?
Well, naturally going in, at first we were thinking, we need to take our time. We need to go. He's going to get a lot more offers after this season. So there was that whole thing. But once we stepped in on IU's campus and got to meet the coaching staff and saw the town and saw all that IU had to offer, it's the saying that keeps popping up everywhere we go. It's when you know, you know. And I don't believe that we're going to get anywhere else, get that same get that same thing anywhere else. Every day that we go longer into this process, there's just little confirmations that this is and continues to be the right decision for Jakai.
And when you were talking about your kid, your child, that has to be very comforting.
Yeah.
As a parent.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen there's been quite a few Georgia connections coming to Indiana here on the basketball side of things, and it probably is not going to stop. But playing down there in that Atlanta area, tough ball market, man, down there. There's some ballers down there in Atlanta. But AJ, oh my gosh, AJ Moye, one of my favorite pictures of all time. Back when he blocked Carlos Boozer, but he was from Atlanta as well. He does quite a bit of training, but there's a big connection between basketball now and Atlanta, the Atlanta area, and the Indiana program. Is that something you'd like to continue to help that pipeline going?
I mean, definitely. I think we should keep it going.
What do you do now once you've made your commitment? What's your focus go towards? What are you looking at? What are you doing? Or are you working on some of the things? I'm sure the coaching staff has say, hey, here's some of the things you need to work on. And then you've also got your high school season coming up. And speaking of that, you're on a high school team that's got like 6 guys with Division I offers, right?
5, 6, yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's got to make for some very intense practices.
Oh, yeah, we just had our first practice today, so I'm a little tired, but yeah.
Today was day 1. How was it?
It was great, real competitive. We all work, we all compete.
And having that kind of 5, 6 guys with D1 offers, that's got the term is iron sharpens iron, which means, they just keep making you better. Do you get that? And I'm sure you're getting that in high school. A lot of guys don't get that kind of competition in high school amongst their own team.
Yeah, that's definitely the case for us. So most of the time, if we're doing drills or like we're doing 5-on-5, I'm always going against Steph. Stephon Castle, my teammate. So it helps me a lot.
And Brandon, as the dad, I know that you see all this going on. I know you've been comfortable with everything. How was the visit for you? What stuck out for you about the visit, the coaching staff, the school, whatever was it that comforted you as well?
Well, honestly, when I was sitting down with Woodson the first night, the first 10 or 15 minutes, just talking to Coach Winston, I said my son was going to be a Hoosier. That's what I had said in my mind. I mean, I wasn't really sure, but I was like, wow, because I was thinking to myself, he seemed like a very genuine man. And before I even got to the basketball, I was like, what kind of human being is this guy? Is he a good person? Before we can even get to basketball, will my son be okay being 8 hours from the house? I'm not there. What type of guys he's going to be around, So after that, I was like, man, I didn't even think about Mike Woodson, the NBA coach. I just saw a genuinely good man. And from there, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing because you have to. I have a daughter that's away to Ole Miss right now, and golly, it drives me nuts because it's about the same distance away, and I'm like, man, I can't get there in 10 minutes, man. Yeah. But,
right.
So I understand about having to have that comfort feeling, whether it doesn't matter, male or female, it doesn't matter. Still, the kid, you're like, man, because you've had him. Well, you'll still have him for another couple of years, but you have him for like 18 years, and then all of a sudden, poof, they're gone.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and so I understand you want that comfort level, but obviously you guys have found that, and Jakai has found that. But what else besides the coaching staff, Jakai? Talk about the campus. What's some of the things that stood out to you in regards to that?
The campus was real nice. Like, I loved it. I loved how close everything felt kind of close, connected. And the fans, I love the fans a lot. The support and love they've been showing me has been crazy. So that meant a lot for me too. And seeing the court, like I've seen a lot of big Depots, like workouts and stuff like that, and just being on them courts and just envisioning like players that's played on there. That was a good thing for me. See.
Yeah, there's Assembly Hall is one of those places when you see a lot of not the Big Ten teams, but the non-conference teams when they come into play. You'll see guys that have their cameras out or whatever. They're taking video walking into Assembly Hall as a visiting team. It's one of those places. It's an iconic arena. have you? And it's probably not something you thought of growing up because down in Georgia, but Assembly Hall is one of the iconic places in all of college basketball. And now that you are going to be playing there, those 5 banners that hang up there, Bob Knight coached there. It's one of those places that is in basketball lore. What does that mean to you that you're going to be able to be a part of that?
Man, it means a lot. I can't wait to be there and just play on that court and play in that environment, like surrounded by those fans. Just show them all the work I've been putting in.
What are some of the guys you got to hang out with from the team?
I didn't get to I was real busy on the visit, so doing stuff, so I didn't really get to hang out one-on-one with a lot of the players, but I got to talk to a couple of them. I'm trying to think of their names off the top of my head. I know Xavier real cool. Caleb ain't there, but I've been talking to Caleb too. Trey's real cool. Trey. So there's some other guys on that too. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but the whole team seemed cool.
And now, like I said, you've got 2 years. How hard is it now that you know where you're going that you got to wait 2 more years to get there?
I mean, I think it's a good and bad thing. Like I'm ready to go there and play, but I still got a lot of work to do here and still got some goals for my high school. So.
And don't rush life. Like I said, man, it'll come fast enough. I promise you. You'll spend your life having people tell you that life goes by fast. And when you're young, you're like, yeah. Because I was like, yeah. Well, let me tell you, it's gone, man. You can't get it back. So
you're right.
That's why I say enjoy every minute. Soak it up. Your dad's telling you the same thing. I'm telling you. That's why all of us old people that tell you to enjoy it because it goes fast. Believe you me, it goes fast, man. So enjoy every morning. Brandon, is my telling the truth or what?
Telling the truth.
I promise you, man. And yeah, you get to look forward to all this. What you gotta talk about your team coming up this season? Like I said, we got quite a few guys on there. State championship has got to be a goal for you.
Oh, definitely. We got a good shot at it too. And we got our whole team can go. It ain't just me. It ain't just Steph. It ain't just Quay, MJ, we got AP, Daniel, Mio, Tate, Ryan, Bez, our whole team. Like everybody, we can all go. So.
Is this like a regular school? Is it an academy?
It's a public school.
It's just a regular public school with 6 guys that got Division I offers on it.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want to. I wouldn't. If I was coaching, I would not want to play them. There's no way. There cannot be that many high schools that have 5, 6 guys with D1 offers.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, a lot of expectations.
Well, this is definitely a basketball area, as you know, when you're coming up to Indiana, and it is the resurgence. The Hoosier Hysteria recently had. It was pretty cool. Isaiah Thomas was back for that. Some of the greats, and were you there for Hoosier Hysteria? Did you get to make it?
We wanted to come.
Man, but that's the thing. Those guys will be coming over, and talk about Mike Woodson and his professional relationships. I'm sure there's going to be the NBA guys that get to talk to occasionally and things like that. But just talking to those guys has to be helpful in your game as well. What are some of the types of conversations you're able to have that help you without even being on the court?
It was breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Like when you're talking to either Coach Woodson or any of the Coach Yao or any of those guys, I'm sure they're giving you advice in here and there. But what's the most important part of the conversations they give you that are not about on the court, that are helping you off the court?
I mean, really, that was a big thing that was talked about when I was up there. It wasn't even a lot about just basketball. It was more about life, like just working hard, just keep grinding, how to make money, how to manage money, stuff like that, stuff that I really need. So.
Yeah, and well, you speak of that. You have the NIL, which will be in place when you get here, which has changed college athletics in the blink of an eye. So that stuff, but that's 2 years away from messing with. But that'll be here for you to deal with it all. But you mentioned the fans earlier. You're definitely coming to an area that has quite a few fans. Assembly Hall holds over 17,000. It'll be full. You've seen it, how it goes up. It's one of the loudest places. If you noticed how it was set up in that balcony, it was designed like a theater, and you have 2 theaters facing each other. So all that noise rains down onto the court. I remember a couple of years ago when Duke played here. Who was Grayson? What's his name? Grayson. What's his name? That tripped everybody.
Grayson.
Anyway, yes. After the game, he was asked about the noise, and he said, "Well, when you're 5 feet away from somebody and you still have to use hand signals," he goes, "I've not been in an environment like that before." So, and it can get very, very loud. And it's a place that has been dominant by Indiana for so long, but they want to get back to that place of dominance. They haven't been there. And there's a lot of guys now that want to be a part of getting that back because it's a rich history, and it just needs somebody to come along and sprinkle some water in the garden. And guys like you are the water in the garden. How does that – are you thinking about that, of being a part of bringing back something and being a part of something that was gigantic and is right there waiting to become big again?
Definitely. That's the goal. I mean, that's the mission. So at the end of the day, like, just to get it back on top.
But talk about your game. I know they call you a combo guard. Do you prefer to play the one or the two? What do you like to do?
I prefer to play the two, but if I need to play the one, I can play the one. I definitely want to work more like playmaking and stuff and being more of a one. But if I need to, I can do it.
You seem to enjoy getting to the rim whenever you have a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Watch the highlights. What is your, as far when you're out there, what are you looking at? What are you trying to do as far as being a part of the rotation? What is your goal when you're on the floor?
You talking about that like in high school, or if I'm going to Indiana?
Right now. Yeah, we'll stick right now.
Right now, just bringing energy, like being aggressive, attacking, getting to my spots, making my jump shot, playing defense, rebounding, pretty much just trying to do everything I can do to win.
And Bettina, how you guys are, I know, excited for him that he's made the decision. You all seem very, very happy. What is next? Do you guys get to, now you're getting for 2 more years before you get to send him away. So how are you looking forward to this next 2 years with him playing his high school career out?
What are our basketball goals for him? Like, how are we looking forward to that, or just in general?
Oh, absolutely. Both.
In general, I'm just looking forward to making as many memories with him as possible, because he's about to go off on this adventure, and he won't just be right upstairs or, right at our fingertips anymore. So that's what I'm looking for in general. So I catch myself sometimes just looking at him like, that's just my little baby. He's all grown up. But just in basketball, I am so excited to see him do the things that he is ready to do, in terms of he's making a list for himself so that he prepares himself to be playing at that next level. And so I'm excited to see him do that, accomplish those goals so that he's ready for you guys and so that he can make you proud.
And Brandon, I know, being a male, that males have this other, they're so I know that Bettina's just as happy as you are, but for a man, there just seems to be this other kind of happiness when they are able to achieve this stuff. And I'm saying it because I understand. But how excited are you to see Jakai get this opportunity to go play at a place like Indiana, just one of the pinnacles in college basketball?
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. When I was a kid, actually when I was about his age, I was like obsessed with college basketball. So like I watched every game, every night. I mean, I don't care. I would have missed a funeral and a wedding for March Madness. Like, I'm not going if March Madness is on. So for you to tell me that my son is going to be a part of that group, it's just mind-boggling. It's amazing. But he's not going to be a regular player. He's just not going to be out there to be out there. I know. I have to say, it's been some narratives about what type of style he is and what he's going to do when he gets there. But I think he's going to put on a show. He's going to put on a show.
Hey, you got to have confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will, right?
That's right.
Exactly. And there's no narratives being put on here, I promise you. It's all blank slate, baby. Everything's a blank slate. And I guarantee you Mike Woodson sees a blank slate He does. I've had the opportunity to be around him a little bit, but I get the same exact feeling that you guys do. He is just calm, genuine, matter of fact, tells you the truth, does not go to blow smoke. No coach speak. That's the best. That's actually been the best for us in the media, getting to work with him. Because he worked in the NBA, it has been so much better. And I think that is really going to translate down to the players as well, because he knows what it takes. And he knows these aren't pro players yet, but he knows how to get them there. But he also knows what not to do. And I think Indiana was very, very fortunate to end up with Mike Woodson as their coach, and looking forward to see what he could do with guys like Jakai and the rest of that. So, Jakai, how much time will you come up very often? Will you try to come up for any games? I know you'll be busy with your own season.
Yeah, I got to see what our schedule is compared to theirs, but I definitely want to see some games, at least one this year. So,
and the parents, will you guys come to Bloomington anymore before he gets up here?
We're hoping to. We had tried to get some high school games, a list of some high schools, because we wanted to check out some high school games. People were telling us how fantastic the high school games are, so we were hoping to see what we can catch on that end too.
Oh, you don't want to come up in March, because there'll be 8,000 people in a gym watching a high school game.
Yeah,
that's what we heard.
That's no joke. Well, that's no joke. That's that is no joke. I can promise. Seymour holds about 8,000, and that gym is full 3 weeks straight. 3 weekends in a row, that gym will be full. But tons of high school basketball. Yeah, they like it up here. I promise you.
We heard Bloomington North and South.
Big rivalry. Big rivalry there. Yeah, and both have produced players that have gone on to play at IU. Jordan Halls, Jared Jeffries from North. North has produced quite a few, as a matter of fact. But yeah, and actually Terry Stotts, who is a coach in the NBA, was also from Bloomington North High School. It's crazy, the connections. But yeah, I'm so happy. You talked about the town. What about Bloomington did you like? It's a pretty cool college town.
Yeah,
I liked it. It seemed like it was kind of chill. Like it wasn't like too much going on. Somewhere I could focus. Everything was close together. So I definitely liked it a lot.
It had the same kind of vibe as Covington has, where we're from, and but I just enjoyed the people. The people were fantastic, and I liked the way it looked, and that's what I enjoyed.
And as far as what you get up here, what are you looking to study? Have you thought that far ahead? I know you got 2 years. I guarantee I didn't know. I had no clue when I was a junior. I'm like, what? College? Man, I ain't college. But you're smarter than I am. I can already tell. So you probably thought about it.
I want to look into business and marketing. Be my own
place to go.
Yeah,
good place to go. Parents, what's the best advice that you've heard him be given by someone from the coaching staff or from through this recruiting process?
The best advice that he was given?
I'm just making up questions.
It was a lot.
Well, what about your game? Did they look at any film of you that, hey, is there something you could work on, or what are you looking to improve about your own game that you know that you'd like to work on?
Yeah, they took me into like a little room, and they started playing my film and comparing it to what they do. And they said, they would show me how I fit into the system, and it's basically what I do now. They just told me to keep working on everything I do now, just keep doing it, and just keep improving on it. And,
how much? It's got to give you a ton of confidence going into your own season, but knowing that you're going to go play at Indiana, that's waiting on you. That's just got to be a great, great feeling.
Definitely. I definitely feel the love. So and knowing that that's where I'm gonna be playing, and it's a great feeling.
What was the response when you let the coaches know that you wanted to commit?
I didn't tell all of them at first. I told Coach Ya. Me and Coach Ya been kind of cool for a little minute, so I wanted him to be the first one to know. And he kept it quiet for me until the next morning. And he told Coach Woody, he said he was super excited. He called his wife and all that. And then we got on the Zoom. We got on the Zoom later that day, and I told everybody. So.
Oh, awesome, man! I can't thank you guys enough for taking time to sit down with us, and look forward to doing this again. As we'll be checking in. We'll check in on the season throughout this year, and we'll get you on and see how that's going. But both Brandon and Bettina, I can't thank you guys enough as well. And thank you for sharing us for this time. And look forward to seeing you guys when you get up here as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Appreciate you guys so much. Jakai Newton joining us, and Bettina and Brandon as well here on Indiana Sports Beat. We got lots more coming up, and we're back with it right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone.
Whether it's a celebration or just a relaxing night away from the kitchen, don't make the same old choices. Try something fresh and new.
All right, we're back.
How was that?
It was good. And to answer your question, I think it was coming from the house or wherever they were at.
God damn, I didn't hear that last night. That was driving me insane.
I noticed it towards the end. You'll have about 8 minutes when we get back.
Oh, it's only perfect.
I know. All right, coming back.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're now a part of the Rivals Network. TheHoosier.com is where you'll find complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, as well as coverage of the Big Ten. Simply go to TheHoosier.com and sign up. It's free. You can also catch Indiana Sports Beat Radio there each day at your convenience, or you can find it any place you podcast or on this station each weekday. If we're not on the station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
This segment is brought to you by RE/MAX Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and Southern Stone Restaurant.
Welcome back. Sounds like a little Green Acres or something there, man. Sounds like a hoedown. A lot of comments on the Andy Moore Honda hotlines. Try to get to some of those. Five Lefts saying hi to everyone. What a great family, by the way. First of all, just it stands out. It really does. It just you can see what a great family. You can see it by the pictures. That's how I first saw it, and you got kind of an inclination, but that is not always the case. But shortly, just having a short conversation that is easy to tell, and that means you're going to have a good kid in your system. Doesn't have a lot to do with his abilities on the court, but it starts if you don't have the right fit, as a lot of coaches will say, it's not going to be good. So it has to start at the beginning. And wow, what a great foundation he has. And to have the wherewithal to make that commitment 2 years in advance. I mean, it did not have to do that. He could have strung out and would have gotten more offers. Oh, you think he's not going to get more offers over the next 2 years, especially playing on a team as talented as that and having the offers that he already had? So he could have had tons of offers. He could have taken all these official visits to places, but didn't do that. Kind of knew where he wanted to go. And that's no matter where that is, you have to appreciate that. And the maturity of knowing that. But that's one of the things. George Geronimo was like that. I've said this several times because he said this, but he thought he was going to be playing Division III basketball somewhere. He did not envision playing D1 any place, much less at a school like Indiana. So when he was brought in for a visit, I believe he committed immediately on the visit, but was told, hey, no, you got to go home. And then he committed the next day. But Jakai has a lot more notoriety there. So that's a little less, it happens a little less. But Sam asked, want to know, does Jakai have a license to carry those guns? He's a beast. Oh, yeah. And see, that's another thing. A high school kid with that kind of frame. And that is one of the things, that's what makes him stand out. He already has a sophomore in college type of frame. So you can imagine when he gets to Indiana and they get on the nutritional program and all of that. It's these athletes today. It's a different deal, man. Five Lefts saying hi to everyone, to Mr. and Miss. Let's see. Yes, partially. My bad. Thank you. I appreciate you. You guys are the best. Pete. Yes, it is a great. I mean, that really stands out. It does, and that's another thing. Coach Woodson. He's not. He's not doing it by a slogan with LEO or whatever, but there's a similar line to that, and I think he alluded to that to our exclusive interview we had at Big Ten Media Day, by the way. And I think, are we still the only IU outlet that had a one-on-one with him? I think so. Pretty cool. Pretty proud of that. But yeah, go back and watch that if you want. The Big Ten Media Day, we had the opportunity to talk to Coach Woodson, and I think he talked about that a little bit, the family thing. But that's important to him. It really is. And it should be, because it brings harmony and it brings everything into one. And if you don't have that and you have links going off in a different direction, it's like the saying goes, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And if you've got a link that's wanting to go in a different direction, that's not going to help the rest of the team. Got to get this out. Forrest Gray. Next year is his 50th I-Man's anniversary. Seems like congratulations. We got to congratulate Forrest. He was a wrestler in Indiana. So they recently had that deal. But next year he'll get to come up and do his 50th. We can't wait. We'll be there to celebrate with you, Forrest. I promise. Let's see. Jennifer says time does go fast. Yep, talked about that. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you. We'll always try to get them on. As a matter of fact, we got JQ Roberts on tomorrow. So we got more coming for you, man. We're working hard, brother. That's all we do. Oh, man. That would have been a great question, but I'll text him and see. I don't think so. I've not heard that. Appreciate you, Mike the Beast Man. Appreciate all you guys. That's right. There you go. When you know it's no. The truth is here. Thanks for all the comments. Well, yeah, that was fun, John. Where are we? Got to make sure I don't go over. Don't forget, I'm getting ready to send this tweet out about Josh Hoover. He's been on with us a couple of times, and we'll make sure to get him on more. As I said, as his season he's on the back half of his season. But right now, Josh Hoover, the kid from Rockwall Heath High School in Rockwall, Texas, closing in on 9,000 yards passing for his career. Currently, he is like 300 and something yards short of it. He's got 86.72 total. For a career, he averages 280 yards a game. He's thrown 94 touchdowns in his career. On the season right now, he's right at 2,200 yards, 26 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. Huh? That's in 6A Texas football. That's not 1A or he's in the highest level. Friday Night Lights. He's on Friday Night Lights basically. So keep track of him. I think he's going to be special. I really do. I love watching his highlights. It's been fun. So, thank you, Tim. The 50th anniversary of Assembly Hall. We'll have to talk about that tomorrow, and we'll hear from Michael Oxley tomorrow as well. The Maryland coach. Plenty coming up tomorrow. Dylan Sten with us. Alec Lasley to update basketball recruiting. JQ Roberts will be on. Zach Osterman, Jeffrey the Greek, and we'll hear from Tom Allen and Mike Loxley. Man, we had a lot, and we got a lot more for you. Thank you guys so much. Thank John, the producer, and everybody today. Can't do it without you guys. Hope you all have a great one, and we'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.